Sure. My name is Heather Arnt. I'm an owner and I work as a speech pathologist at Red Door Pediatric Therapy in Bismarck.
And what are
I think the duties of a speech pathologist include evaluation and treatment. We're a pediatric practice, and so evaluation and treatment of kids with speech or language disorders. And so just developing treatment plans and parent interviews and assessments of children, determining skill level and areas of need and areas of strength so that we can best determine a treatment plan based on that. Not really. They're supposed to be. I mean, I come to work and I have a schedule and I know who I'm seeing that day. But I think, especially when you work with kids, you never really get the same thing twice. And so while I've been doing this for a while, so my day seems a little bit predictable now. I never really know, what I'm going to get. And I meet new kids every week. I do new evaluations every week. And so every week, kids come in my door that I haven't met before, and then you kind of have to start fresh with them. So I think that becomes a job priority, is that you can't really get stuck in a rut, because ruts don't work with kids. Well, I'm a little bit type A. And so really when I was in school, I realized that this was a field where there was a guaranteed, job. Employment rates were really high in this field, and kind of everywhere you turned, people were looking for speech pathologists, and that was attractive to me. I had a lot of friends who were majoring in psychology or public relations, and at the end of it, I didn't know where they would work or what they would do. And so this was attractive to me because it was a set career path with essentially a guaranteed job at the end. Well, my undergraduate degree was in communication sciences and disorders with a minor in rehabilitation services. And then in order to do this job, you do have to get a master's degree. And so my master's degree is in speech pathology. So they're really specific to the job that I do. Well, I think if when you do this job, you figure out what population you want to work with, and then you sort of feel successful based on that population. And what I like about working with kids is that there's just so much potential. And I think parents come to you feeling a little bit, maybe not nervous, but a little bit apprehensive, like they don't really know what this is going to entail, and they don't know how to expect progress from their child. And I think that we really open the door to communication, and that helps the family unit, and it makes the family unit stronger. And so for me, that's a really successful interaction with that child. And it's fun. Kids are funny, kids are funny, and you don't know what to expect from them, and they say whatever they want. And so, every day there's something funny. I think the challenging parts are that you have to keep it fresh, and that something that worked for someone, a day or two ago might not work now, or something that worked for your 10 o'clock patient might not work for your 10:30. I think that every family unit is different, and you have to be considerate and mindful of that. And I think that you have to kind of bring your game every day, because kids sort of know if you're not really in the mood for them. And so I think that you have to keep it fresh. You can't be in the mindset like, I've done this for a long time, I'm just going to keep going as I've been going. Um, you have to kind of mix things up a little bit. This job is very team oriented, and I think when you work with kids um, who have, indicators of a language disorder or something like that, lots of times those go along with a diagnosis like Down syndrome or autism spectrum disorder, or a medical diagnosis like that, which indicates that then there are other professionals in the mix, be it occupational therapy or physical therapy or a psychologist or something like that. So I think a collaborative approach and mindset makes for a much more successful outcome for that child. I do know that there's a lot of speech pathologists who travel, especially in rural North Dakota, who are kind of on their own, and they get in their car and they drive to a school and they fulfill a contract there, and they don't have a ton of interaction with the other professionals. But they're seeing a child that certainly is involved with other professionals. So I think a collaborative approach with these kids is the best way to go. I think that when you work with kids, you have to it's different than being a teacher, and it's different than being, sort of a physician that works with children. I think that when you work with children, like I do, you end up working with the whole family. And there's a lot of focus with families on disability and diagnosis and what their child can't do and how that compares to what maybe their other kids can do or other kids they've seen at preschool can do. And I think when you're going to work with this population, you really have to change your mindset and focus on what kids can do and build off ability. I think it's a different perspective, and I think it's a much more successful perspective. So I would say hone your written and verbal language skills, and keep in mind, always keep in mind the child's ability.